present their rebuttals. Each team is allowed 5 minutes for that rebuttal, and anyone on either team may do that. We will start with the negative for a period of 5 minutes.
First of all, just final thanks to everybody for making this process possible. I know the thanks have already been copious, but thank you again. This round comes down to a choice between, as Mr. Sexton already so adroitly pointed out, that it comes down to a choice between implementing a policy to fund these reprocessing nuclear reactors, or secondly, to implement a renewable portfolio standard that would establish a mandated target for renewable production, specifically 20% by 2017, 40% by 2027, and so on. S. David Freeman and Cooper and Sovacool, these are all well-respected energy experts. They cite a couple reasons why this would be a feasible plan to establish an RPS. First of all, Germany has already shown us that renewables do have the capacity to meet a lot of our energy demand. They're meeting 20% of Germany's demand now. So we can reach that target in a couple years. That's perfectly feasible. Additionally, North Dakota alone possesses enough wind capacity to meet 20% of the nation's needs. So the capacity is there. The resources are there. We just need to monopolize and get on these resources. Also, we establish a predictable market for renewable energy. No policy currently in place protects renewables from competition with fossil fuels, which inherently have a much lower cost, even though they have a lot higher societal costs in the long run. They have much lower short-term cost. And we protect renewables and put them in their own market where they can operate within themselves and not compete with these other cheaper but more costly in the long run energy sources. A couple reasons why implementing nuclear power would be a bad idea. First of all, their technology will not be ready until 2020 or 2025. As Mr. Sexton pointed out, this is their own Pomper evidence, which they cite as an advocate for their plan, that their type of technology has never been built before, and it will not be ready to be built or even start to be built until between 2020 and to 2025. And this is a long time down the road, and this means that they cost a lot more, and they take a lot more time to be built than the current reactors. So the reactors they're building in France for $1 billion, those aren't the reactors they're building. Those are light water reactors, as Ms. Wade has pointed out a lot of times. There are these new reactors that aren't ready to be built, and they cost a lot of money. Additionally, this is something that's kind of been glossed over in the round because we haven't really had time to emphasize it enough. That federal money is already on the table. The Energy Policy Act already allocated loan guarantees, which cover 80% of the cost of a nuclear project. Additionally, they already established grants for development. So if this technology was ready to be developed, it could already apply under current processes. So this proves that the technology is not ready now, because if it were, they could apply for loans to build these plants, but they can't until 2020. Additionally, licensing still is a huge issue. This is what sets it apart from France. The NERC, as they point out in their own constructive, establishes really high regulatory costs on these nuclear plants. They have these, they make them meet these extrinsic safety guidelines, and if they were viable now, they could apply for a license by the NRC and they would receive one, but they're not. The NRC is not ready to give them a license because the costs, because they're not ready to be built now. Also, nuclear energy is too cumbersome and expensive to meet the energy demand. We cite Mr. Ferguson at the very beginning of our speech. It says that we'd have to build a nuclear reactor every 16 days for the next 20 years to even keep up with current energy demand. And so we're not going to be able to mitigate global warming by just building nuclear reactors. Additionally, multiple bottlenecks exist now to implementing nuclear energy. We don't have even if we could start building them now, we don't have the resources available right now to build certain elements of nuclear reactors that would be really important to their construction. Additionally, renewables are a lot better than nuclear in this respect. In response to Mr. Dethridge's concerns, this is a proven technology that can be implemented now. It's cheaper, and there's not any externalities. On to the externalities. First of all, there's waste. As Ms. McArdle pointed out, you can never eliminate human error. There's always going to be the risk of a meltdown, always going to be the risk of terrorists taking this material and using it for bad measures. So nuclear energy always poses inherent risk, and these risks are important for one reason. First of all, they scare off investors, and so that investors don't want to invest in nuclear energy because there's such high externalities associated with it. Additionally, you're always going to have waste. Your reprocessing cannot ever destroy all the waste. There's always going to be some left over. Their own Beck and Grimson site states that the waste left over is even more radioactive and even more applicable to building a dirty bomb or a nuclear weapon. So they don't actually mitigate this problem at all. So in conclusion, we should prefer to implement RPS to solve our energy needs to this nuclear energy program, which is not implemented now, will take a long time, is very costly, and does not sufficiently address the problems they isolate. Thank you.
Thank you.